Hello everyone, and welcome to our show, Healthy Cooking Made Easy. I'm Luann Anton, health educator at Stockton University, and I work out of the Wellness Center. If you're a student here at Stockton, please be sure to check our website out as to see what services are available to you. We offer lots of programs for no additional cost to you just because you're a student here, and they're already included in the fees that you're paying. I'm not a nutritionist, but as the health educator, I do know some things about nutrition, and I know a little bit about cooking. So I thought it might be fun to show you just how easy it is to cook healthy and easy meals. Over the years, I've noticed that students' interest increases with the increased numbers of students that come to see our nutritionist, and that many of you really do want to know how to cook quickly and easily and to be able to be a little bit more healthy. So today I'm going to show you how to cook two healthy omelets actually. We're here in N-Wing Cafeteria at Stockton University, and we want to say thank you to Chartwell's for providing the space and the ingredients for what we're going to make today. So, as I said, we're going to start with making a healthy omelet, and the first omelet we're going to do is a spinach omelet. So what you'll need are 3 eggs, or you can make an omelet with 2 eggs if you like. And I chose an omelet to show you how to make because omelets are pretty economical to make. Eggs are still relatively inexpensive. If you're a vegan, you may want to use an egg substitute or just choose another meal instead of this one. But if not, if you're okay with eggs, eggs provide a very complete source of protein. So I'm using regular eggs today. I don't generally use an egg substitute. It's my understanding that they are free of fat and also cholesterol, but as I said, eggs are natural, and I think they're a really good source of protein. So we're just going to start by cracking our eggs into the bowl and hoping that we don't get any eggshell in there. And we did get a little eggshell in there. If that happens, just reach in and pull it out. It's not a big deal. Okay. And then we're going to take a whisk. This is a pretty big whisk today. And just whisk it up real nice like that. So you get them mixed up. I like to use a whisk because it aerates the eggs and makes your omelet a little bit more fluffy. Okay, next we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. And I don't always get real specific with the amounts of ingredients. Just add what you like to taste. I like a lot of pepper, a little bit of salt. So that's how I do it. Some people add milk to their omelets, some people don't. I like to add a little milk to mine. And I usually use organic milk, and I usually use whole milk as well. If you like to use a lower fat version, there's nothing wrong with that. But I find that when I use a whole milk, I need to use less of it to get the desired consistency and the look that I want. So just dump a little bit in there. You don't need a whole lot of milk. You want it to just kind of pale the yellow of the eggs a little bit. Mix it around in there real good like that. And now we're going to come over here and turn on our pan. So you want to warm up your pan, okay? The key to an omelet is going to be to cook it on a low to medium heat. So cooking an omelet can require a little bit of patience. And you can either add a little bit of butter to the pan. I'm just going to add a little bit, enough to coat this pan. Although it's a non-stick pan, I find that the omelets work out better with just a little bit of something in there to keep it from sticking at all. And sometimes I'll use a grapeseed oil or an olive oil, which is a nice substitute to the butter if you don't want to use the butter. But today we're just going to use a little bit of butter and get that melted around in there. Let's just add a little bit more. As you can see, I do a lot of things by how they look And another reason I decided to do this show was to encourage people to experiment and get to try to cook, because you don't have to be perfect with everything. That's how I learned to cook, just by experimenting. Some things work out well, other things don't, but you'll find along the way that you get to create some pretty neat stuff that works out pretty good. So, like I said, I'm just going to get this pan warm and then mix my eggs up once again real good, like this. And once the butter is nice and melted in there, just whisk them together and dump it in your pan, okay? Now, as I said, you want to make sure that your flame is, oops, it just went off, is on low. And then when the egg starts to set, you'll just pull it a little bit away from the edge of the pan. Okay? Okay. Now today what we're going to do is we're going to start with a spinach omelet. And you can make any kind of veggie omelet, which is always very healthy. Add as many veggies as you like, but make sure that your veggies are already cooked before you add them. Today, just to save some time, I'm using some frozen chopped spinach for the omelet. And we're going to use Swiss cheese because that's what I like to mix with spinach. You can use any combination you like. If you want to leave the cheese out, you can. But to me, a good omelet has some cheese in it. So, like I said, if you wanted to add some onion to this, or mushrooms, a really good combination with spinach, you would chop and saute the onions and the mushrooms first, and then put them aside in a little bowl until you're ready to add these ingredients. Okay, so once it looks like the egg is starting to set, like it does now, the way I do it, you can make an omelet several different ways, but the way I'm going to do it is to just put a little bit of filling, my filling choices, right down the center. Because the pan, and you'll have to experiment with the pans that you're using and how it turns out for you. But for me with this pan, it works out nicely to just put the fillings in the center. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't turn out to be an omelet, then we have scrambled eggs with some healthy filling stuff in there. So you really don't need a whole lot in your omelet. And again, you can make it however you like. But if you put too much filling in, it's going to be kind of hard to get it out of the pan and how to flip it over. Now, you could use shredded cheese, or you can chop up your cheese. But they gave us 2 slices of Swiss cheese. Actually, this is kind of thick, so I think I'm only going to use 1 today. And I'm just going to break this up into little pieces and put it right on top of the spinach. And then I usually take a knife too. That's really easy for me to lift up the edges a little bit. And you know the omelet is ready to flip. What we're going to do is move these 2 sides right over into the center. And then I usually choose a pan that has a lid so that we can cover it and kind of let it steam and finish out cooking. But we want that egg to look like it's almost completely cooked through before we flip it over there. Okay, so we'll just give that a few moments. So this is part of the patience of cooking an omelet. You can't cook an omelet too quickly, or it's going to just make like scrambled egg and it won't come out nice for you. But we're almost there. After this, we're going to move on and make a second omelet with ham and with cheese in it. And like I said, pretty much anything that you like to eat with eggs, you can put in an omelet. We're not doing anything as far as toast or potatoes today because we're going to keep this quick and easy and keep it healthy. But you certainly can add toast to this, or fried potatoes if that's what you like. I try to stay away from that. But if you are adding toast, a whole wheat toast or a multigrain or a whole grain bread is a nice choice. English muffins toasted are another good choice over a bagel. There's less fat in there, and the carbohydrates in a whole grain or a multigrain are digested much better and easier by your body than the white flour. You want to stay away from white flour products because that breaks down quickly into sugar or ultimately fat. So think about that when you're adding things to your breakfast foods. And omelets can be eaten for lunch, for dinner. Omelets are not just for breakfast. As I said, eggs are a really complete source of protein. So it's a nice, healthy, quick meal to make, and one that will give you some energy when you have enough protein in your meal, and it will give you enough energy over a period of time. For those of you that like breakfast meats, as I said, the next one we're going to use ham and cheese. But if you wanted to add a breakfast meat to this, I would recommend a Canadian bacon would probably be your best choice. And if you like bacon and sausage, you just don't want to eat too much of those things because those are processed meats that aren't really good for you. Turkey bacon, turkey sausage would be a better choice. So it looks like we're about ready to flip this. And I use my knife to help me flip this over the center like that. Okay? And I'm just going to get this side right here, get my flipper under it, and flip that right over like that. Okay? Press it down so it sets a little bit. Okay? Now maintain this still on low heat and get your lid out and cover it. And we're going to look at that for about 2 minutes. And then we should be done. So in about 2 minutes, that should finish setting and we'll be ready to go. Okay? So, meanwhile, while we're waiting for that to finish up, okay, we're going to move on and get ready for our second omelet. So once again, just crack your eggs in the bowl. And it doesn't really matter whether you use white eggs or brown eggs. I understand that that doesn't make any difference in the nutritional quality of the egg itself. That different color eggs just have to do with the type of chicken it comes from. So I wouldn't worry about that. I do like to choose cage-free eggs. I think it's important if you're going to eat animal products to select from those that have been treated well. I think it makes a difference in how we feel after we eat certain products. So let's see how our omelet is doing. It looks like it's getting there, but see, it's a little bit liquidy on top. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to flip it because I want to make sure that the insides are cooked. So I'm going to flip the whole thing, and we'll just leave that there for just maybe another minute or so. So back to our second omelet. We're going to mix that up real good. And just like the first one, add a little salt and pepper. A little bit of milk. Just until we make it lighten up a little bit. Just enough. That looks pretty good. And then we'll come over here and get our omelet off of this burner because I'm sure it's done. And here we have our spinach and Swiss cheese omelet. I'm just going to clean out this pan. You want to start with a clean pan with each omelet that you make. See, with this pan, it's quick and easy. All you have to do is rinse it, wipe it out, and you're ready to go. That can be a challenge if you're cooking omelets for more than one person and everyone wants to sit down and eat at once. What I usually do is turn my oven on warm and make the omelets and just put them in the oven as they're finished. Okay. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of butter in my pan. Like I said, usually at home I use grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is nice and light. It has a healthier kind of fat for us than butter does. But this will suffice for today. Coconut oil is another good choice. Coconut oil is a great oil to cook almost anything in. So, now our pan is probably still a little bit warm from before, so we should be ready to start this second omelet here. And I like to mix it and just pour it right in there. Now we can get rid of that bowl. And for the ham, I chose to make a ham and cheddar cheese omelet for the second choice today. And if you like ham, then I would suggest that you choose a lunch meat deli ham. A lot of times I'll just ask them to slice it thick for me and then chop it up into little bits like what we have here. And cheddar is a nice combination with ham or whatever it is that you like. As I was saying before, you could use Canadian bacon, or you can make a bacon omelet, or pretty much put whatever you want. But the healthiest omelets, of course, would be those that are veggie omelets, and it helps us eat more vegetables as well. Now, many of you may be accustomed to drinking juice or orange juice with your breakfast, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're concerned about paying attention to how much sugar you're taking in throughout your day, you want to check the sugar content on fruit juices, which are usually quite high. Instead of having a glass of fruit juice, I'd recommend just having a piece of whole fruit. Many times what I'll do is just cut up a piece of fruit and put it out on the table with my breakfast foods rather than to drink the juice. The whole fruit is better for you anyway. So you see, this is just now starting to set, just like the other one. And we'll just let that sit there for a few moments and cook. The challenging thing for me, since I'm a little impatient when I cook, is to wait for something to cook kind of slowly. So it took me a while to play around with omelets before I could get it right or get it to turn out into what I thought was a decent looking omelet. So again, I just encourage you to experiment with cooking. You don't have to be a great cook to turn out something great. And it can be a lot of fun to cook with your friends or your significant other. It can be a really neat experience. Okay, this is starting to set now, so we can add our fillings once again to this. And again, just like we did with the spinach, I'm going to put a little bit of ham right in the middle here, right down the middle. So we had some amounts, suggested amounts on the recipe that we posted for you. And it really is a matter of preference. But again, just use caution on how much filling you put into the omelet, because it can make it a little bit difficult to turn. I'm going to add a little bit of cheese. And sometimes people put more cheese on the outside. I like to limit the amount of cheese, so I just put a little bit inside. Let that cook. Until it looks like it's almost finished. Any nonstick pan should work really good. So once again, just use your knife, slide your flipper up under that part of the egg, and fold it part way over like that. And then get it onto the other part. See, this part is cooking just a little uneven, which isn't a big deal. There we go. And once again, just cover that, leaving it on low so it doesn't get too brown. Let it sit for about 2 minutes, and then you should be ready. Okay? Like I said, if it doesn't look like it's set too well on the top, you could just flip it over and leave it on there for another 30 seconds or so, and that should be enough to finish cooking it. In the weeks to come, we're going to be bringing you 2 more cooking shows. We're going to show you how to cook a healthy stir fry and add some different sauces to it to make it a little bit different. And my assistant, Kristen Middleman, will be here with me to talk to you about the nutritional aspects of that and just to help out with the show so you get a chance to meet her. And in the final show that we're going to be doing, we're going to do some healthy desserts. And our nutritionist, Kim Raring, will be with us as well to provide more nutritional information on what we're doing there. So yes, you actually can cook a dessert that's pretty healthy. I have quite a sweet tooth that I don't want to give up, so I thought I'd share that with you as well so that you too can cook a healthy dessert. Okay. So I'm going to just flip this whole omelet over like I did with the other one to help it really solidify on the other side there. And we'll just let that cook for a second, a few seconds, and make sure the eggs are all the way cooked, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay? So once again, we want to thank Chartwell's for letting us use the space here today, providing the ingredients. And again, I'm Luann Anton. I work out at the Wellness Center. Please be sure to check out our website and all the services that we offer there. And we hope that you'll tune in for our next show. We should be just about done now. Thanks for joining us.